AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Draft is tomorrow.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Johnny Avello's here in 15 minutes.
Hump day.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
It's hump day.
Draft is tomorrow.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Mickey Loomis told us all of his deepest, darkest draft secrets today.
Hump day.
You'll hear that coming up here momentarily.
It's hump day.
Draft is tomorrow.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Sean Fazan will be here in hour 3.
Hump day.
Tiger baseball got a win.
It's hump day.
President's talking about college football.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Taylor Calandro's talking about booze.
Hump day.
Lane Kiffin's talking about safeties.
It's hump day.
Got a lot to do.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's get cranked up. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
It is annually one of the most pointless exercises on the sports calendar after months, in some cases years, of scouting, evaluating, strategizing, going through trade scenarios, interviewing players, workouts, private workouts, Senior Bowl, Pro Day, Combine, physicals. You're 24 hours away from the draft, and coaches and GMs have to do a press conference to tell all their deepest, darkest secrets about the draft. Like, it's the dumbest thing ever. I fully understand the post-draft press conference after each round. What'd you do? How'd it go? Tell me about the player. Why'd you pick it? All that stuff. Got that. The pre-draft press conference, you're just not going to get anything. So it's why I do think maybe you can go more macro than actually questions about this year's draft, because nobody's going to say anything. It's why would you reveal any part of your strategy or thought process for this draft? You wouldn't. No one ever does. So that's why it's a really silly press conference. Nonetheless, Mickey Loomis was obligated and did talk about the Saints' position drafting 8th on Thursday.
Well, I don't like it because it means that last year didn't go very well. So you don't want to be picking in the top 10. But once you get to the draft and you look at the quality of the players that exist, you get excited about, I know we're going to get a really good player at pick 8. So you get excited about that, a guy that can have an impact on your team.
So what I do appreciate about this opportunity is any chance when you get an opportunity to speak to a coach or GM, you hope you can glean some value as far as thought process a little bit here. And it may not necessarily equate to this year's draft, but we always talk with the Saints about trades. And look, maybe that's a symptom of every fan base and every media corps about every team going into the draft as you look at trade scenarios. Could you move up? Could you move back? And more often than not, fans, media, want to see their team move back and accumulate picks. That's certainly been the case with the Saints for a while. It's just not in any way what the Saints do. Under Mickey Loomis, the Saints have made 38 draft trades. 4 have been trading back. They have not traded up in round 1 in more than 20 years. Like, excuse me. I think I said that backwards. They've made, under Mickey Loomis, let me say this another way, make sure I said this correctly. Under Mickey Loomis, the Saints have made 38 draft trades. Only 4 were trading back. The other 34 were trading up in the draft. So we all talk about the Saints potentially moving back to accumulate picks. It's just not what the Saints do or have ever really done under Mickey Loomis, and certainly not at the top of the draft. More likely what you see is them getting aggressive, moving up. Mickey Loomis traded up to take Jonathan Sullivan, 6th overall. Mickey Loomis traded up in the Olave Penning draft to get those 2 first-rounders there. Mickey Loomis traded back into the end of round 1 to get Mark Ingram. The Saints trade up. They don't trade back. And Mickey Loomis kind of talked about what scenarios would have to unfold for a trade back scenario.
You know, the scenarios would be, okay, we're at pick 8 and we've got 4 guys that we love. And so we could go back to as far as 12. If there's 2 that we love, then we could only go back, 2 spots, right? Or someone comes in and says, we'll give you 3 first-round picks to move. May have to do that, right? So it's either or. But I'm not someone that just wants to trade just to have a transaction. And some of that, by the way, comes into play about who are you trading with and what's their likelihood that pick is going to be late the next year versus earlier. And so all that comes into play.
I think that is a very relevant point. For example, go back to 2017 when the Saints traded Brandon Cooks to New England. They got New England's pick. Well, New England ended up winning the Super Bowl, and so it ended up being pick 32. Now, that became Ryan Ramczyk, but that's a dramatic difference than trading with, say, Cleveland, where you're pretty sure that's going to end up a top 10 pick most every year, right? So who might be on the other end of the line is interesting. Now, we've talked about just sort of the mindset that the Saints had for so many years under Drew Brees, which was win now mode, as we sort of phrased it. It's another reason why I understand, while a lot of people have panned Cincinnati sending the 10th pick to the Giants for Dexter Lawrence, I get it, because they're trying to win immediately with a quarterback in which they've invested $500 million, who's had an unfortunate injury history, and they're trying to win now. Well, what helps them win now? A 28-year-old disruptive interior player, or a maybe with the 10th overall pick, not knowing what that pick is going to manifest to. Like, I get why they send that pick. And Loomis kind of explained that thought process in different words.
I would say it this way. When you have a Drew Brees, right, when you have that caliber of quarterback, you're always feeling like you're one player away, right? And so, man, let's go get the one player. And when you have a young quarterback and you're developing your roster, then you're not one player away. So you're less inclined to give up, a number of assets to get, one player. That's probably the best way I can describe it.
He was very clear to point out that this team is not one player away, by the way. But you heard him say, Drew Brees or a young quarterback. Well, you don't have Drew Brees. You have a young quarterback. The dismaying part of the Saints' recent history is that even without Drew Brees, with Derek Carr and before that Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton, like, they were still in win now mode, which was nauseating because they weren't close to winning, but he thought they were. And so you continued to see that same approach. Will we continue to see that same approach now with a young quarterback in Tyler Shuck when they know they're not a player away, but they had a very strong finish to last season, which they asked Mickey, look, does the end of that last season make you more aggressive?
I mean, that's a 5-game stretch, right, or 6-game stretch. So I don't want to read too much into that. We're excited. We're optimistic about our future, but we're not, by no means have we arrived anywhere.
It's the most rational approach that I've heard Mickey Loomis discussing his team, this team. You should be excited. There's reason for optimism around Tyler Shuck, but it is a very small sample at the end of the season against a clump of bad teams. It's why I'm not like banging the drum saying, the Saints have found their franchise quarterback in Tyler Shuck. They have the guy they think is their franchise that they are willing to go build around to see if that can develop into franchise quarterback. But to say after that very small sample in the final month of the season, that tells you that tells you everything you need to know. I'm not there. The other thing that I do think we have to keep an eye on is something we've talked about a few times earlier this week, and it's the trade-up scenario potentially involving Jeremiah Love. And you can roll your eyes, but Mickey Loomis was asked, does free agency affect the draft? So as to say, if you sign players in free agency, does that eliminate or alter what you do in the draft? And in this situation, obviously the Saints spent a lot of money on Travis Etienne at running back, thinking, all right, well, Jeremiah Love's off the board. Maybe not.
Look, it certainly affects us in terms of as we get later in the draft, you're trying to, fill slots on your roster. I don't think it impacts us so much at the top of the draft because, we're looking to take the best player that's available to us when we pick. But as I've said before, generally speaking, there's, when it's time to pick, you've got 2 or 3 guys that you're choosing from that are all in that same grade area. And then you look at your roster and say, hey, we need somebody at this position more than the other one. So it definitely impacts it, but it's not like the only impact.
More of an impact at the bottom of the draft than the top. So as to say, if there's a player they absolutely love, regardless of position and need, they'll take him. I tell you, I will exhale when they make that 8th pick, and it's not Jeremiah Love. Until then, I'm holding my breath because I wouldn't put anything past him. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Bud Light. Show open every day. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of your New Orleans Saints. So if you're going to be watching the draft on Thursday at your home, at your favorite bar, maybe a restaurant with buddies, draft watch party, make sure you grab plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers and the official beer of your New Orleans Saints. Of course, our friends over at Mockler Beverage, great partners of the Saints and the Tigers. So drink easy with Bud Light, the official beer of the AFR and the official beer of the Hoodats, your New Orleans Saints. All right, speaking of the draft, it's always interesting looking at the odds makers and how they see the lens of the draft. Johnny Avello, the odds maker, the bookmaker over there at DraftKings, is going to join us when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
A big shout out to a whole bunch of families that are getting holes dug in their backyards this week. I was on Instagram earlier today and was checking out Duplessis Pools. And this is the Blanchard family, a luxury Oasis extended pool, extra deck, stonescapes, extra lighting, heater, chiller, salt automation. That is a big one. And Duplessis Pools can make it happen. I'm telling you, whatever beautiful custom style pool you want in your backyard, our friends at Duplessis Pools can make it happen. They're going to build you a beautiful pool, a showstopper, with amazing craftsmanship. Remember, the industry standard when it comes to a workmanship warranty is 1 year. Most in the industry will warranty their work for 1 year. Duplessis Pools gives you a 10-year workmanship warranty because, Derek, they take the time to do it right and they stand by their work. Check them out online at duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net.
After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Johnny Avello, DraftKings head odds maker, good enough to join us. Haven't seen him since Super Bowl. Johnny, how are you, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Always our pleasure. Where does something like the draft rate on there at DraftKings relative to other events as far as handle and interest?
For us, it's a really big deal. The other drafts, the NBA, WNBA, Major League, NHL, they're not much, but this one has turned into a big event. So for us, it grows every year, and I would say you could put it in the category of like a mid-level, early morning, 10 o'clock West Time NFL game, somewhere in that area.
Okay. What tends to be the most wagered upon things in the draft?
Well, normally the number one is picking number one or number two. That's usually the top money grabber. But in this case, we've had this up for quite a while. Mendoza was bet early, and he was bet at some pretty good odds. I think we had him 40-1 at one point.
Wow.
But remember, it was wide open at that point, so there was he was no lock to be the one. Now he is. Now the things we're seeing, number 2 and number 3 are both interesting. We're getting a lot of money on, was it Bailey number 2? Is it Reese number 2? That's been going back and forth. Jeremiah Love, will he go exactly in the 4th spot? Some think he'll move up, and that's possible. I mean, the Titans, maybe the Titans don't need a running back. Maybe the Titans need an edge, and so maybe there's some trading there. The quarterbacks, 1.5. We know Mendoza's 1 for sure, but is Simpson going to go in the 1st round? Is somebody going to pick him up late in the 1st round, whether that be Cardinals, maybe the Jets, maybe? I think just those 2, but, who knows? And I think trades are going to play a part in this, too. The Cowboys talking about trading up, Arizona talking about trading up from the 2nd, and there's going to be more to come. So, there's just a lot of uncertainties here.
Johnny Avello's with us, DraftKings head odds maker. Are there public teams in the draft like there are for games? Like the public obviously likes to bet the Cowboys. Is it similar in the draft?
Not really.
Okay.
Because there's some research. This is not where you just pick a game A or B.
Yeah.
You actually have to do a little bit of research and kind of know the draft a bit to make your selections. Now, of course, you could say, I think, somebody's going to go in the top 10. I think a Jordan Tyson will go in the top 10. Or you could say, like, a Sonny Styles is going to go in the top 5 or top 10. You can make those type of picks. But if you're really going to be concentrating on the entire draft and trying to find some value in bets, I don't think you're going for your favorite team. I think you're really dissecting the field.
Well, our favorite team here, for most of us anyway, is the New Orleans Saints. They pick at number 8. What's been the challenge or the opportunity there trying to target what the Saints are going to do with the 8th pick?
I think the Saints probably wide receivers, probably where they're going to end up going. So, the question is that going to be, Carnell Tate, or is there somebody like Tyson who's a better pick? I think that's where they're going to end up landing, but, we'll see. Things change. We all think we know what's going to happen, and then all of a sudden, here comes the draft day and the pick, and something comes out of left field. I mean, it happens all the time in these drafts.
Jordan Tyson, now I'm looking at the DraftKings app right now. Jordan Tyson, you have it plus $2 right now to be the Saints pick at number 8, and then a pretty big gap to Mansour Delane at plus 425, then Carnell Tate at 450. What's happened here, Johnny, because there's been a lot of movement there. At one point, Ruben Bain, I think, might have been the betting favorite for the Saints at 8 overall. What's happened there with Tyson to cause him to jump up?
Some of these guys just get hot. Tyson, I know, did a workout last week, and the workout went well. And, when that news that the workout goes good, then everybody starts thinking where he's going to go, and then the news – the team doesn't put out much news. I think a lot of it is just noise. But the people that were at the workout saw it and say, okay, well, this is a better spot now for the Saints, and this guy's going to move up, and he's going to be, now the number 1 wide receiver. So all of those things happen, and for us, it's all about just trying to stay in touch with it, because, like I said, this is not played out on the field. This is all information based. So It's a very difficult proposition for us, but we really enjoy doing it.
Because it is all information based, Johnny, I wonder if this has even become a profitable endeavor for the sports books, because it would stand to reason a lot of maybe the sharp money may have as good or good information to where they're maybe playing with a little bit of an upper hand. Does that make sense? Does that come into factor?
I would say you are correct on that, going back a few years. Now, remember, we haven't been booking that draft this long. I've been with DraftKings for 8 years. Prior to that, I was at Wynn Las Vegas, and I booked it for a couple years, and we didn't put up anywhere near the content that we do at DraftKings. We'd have who's going to be number one pick, maybe two, maybe the top 10 guys, and that's it. We had to close the draft 24 hours prior to the draft taking place in Nevada. And here we are at DraftKings. We're booking live wagering on it. We're gonna do all the entire first round. So to answer your question, we're better at it now. We really are. I mean, we've got a pretty good handle on it, and the sharps did get the best of us early, but I think right now we're in a good place. We feel confident. We're how we book it.
Johnny Avello's with us, head odds maker over at DraftKings. I'm one of those, Johnny, that I'll be live betting the draft. I mean, I will be. I'll be having. It's just such a fun way to take in the draft with all that playing out as it plays out. One more I want to ask you about is an LSU guy, Mansour Delane. What do you see as far as I'm looking at the DraftKings app right now? I'm looking at odds. What maybe is his ceiling and what maybe is technically or theoretically here his floor.
I guess it's possible to be a top 10, but probably not. And so with some of the trades, if the Cowboys are going to trade up and they're going to look for somebody early, he's probably somewhere between 11 to 15, 16, I'd say, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Okay. That'd be a little disappointing. I know there's a lot of it's never disappointing to be a first round pick, but there's a lot of folks down here who may see him as a top 10, might even like to see him land in New Orleans if they end up going on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see how it plays out. DraftKings Sportsbook, make sure you download the app, get in on the fun. It's a great way to watch the draft, as I mentioned, and you can bet on darn near anything. Johnny, I mean, is there anything else that, by the way, that's new that you all are booking this year? Because I mean, there's a million props and a million different ways to bet on the draft. Is there anything new or interesting that catches your eye?
Well, remember, we used to stop the in-play wagering, and this is picking a certain player in a certain spot.
Right.
And we used to cut that off at number 20. This year, we're going all the way through the first round with that. Now, remember, when you're playing that, we're ahead about 3 guys because of, the lag. So when they're picking number 20, we're already up on 23. So if you're going to play that, make sure you know that and you're staying ahead of it. Our props change every year because of who the position players. I mean, there's 1.5 quarterbacks this year. You can bet over under that. There's only 2 running backs, and the question is, we know Love's going to be going. The question is Price, the other Notre Dame running back, is he going to be in the first round? So there's some guessing there, and so what we do is we put up bets that kind of relate to what we see on these drafts, and they all are unique. None of them are the same. So there's a lot of content up there, I can tell you that. You won't be lost for finding something.
Johnny Avello, head odds maker there at DraftKings. Good luck tomorrow. Enjoy the draft. We'll be following along, man. Thank you.
Thank you much. Have a good day.
Always appreciate it, Johnny Avello. It's after further review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. You can always log on to firstsouthland.com. Start there. They got the Recreational Land Buyer's Guide. It's a free resource on the homepage of the website. Would highly recommend if you're thinking of buying land and you're not sure where to start there. The Ultimate Recreational Land Buying Guide. It's there. It's a free resource at firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Maybe you're someone who already owns land. A lot of people who buy land already own land. You want to roll some of your equity from your current property into a new property. They can help you do that. This isn't like buying land is not like buying a home or another type of asset. It is an asset all itself, and so you need land lenders who are experienced in that ecosystem to help you. And the best are First South Farm Credit because they've been doing it since 1916, more than 100 years. FirstSouthland.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthland.com. All right, thanks to Johnny Avello for joining us. How about that? Thanks to Delane, probably drops out of the top 10. We'll see. I'll be curious, obviously, what happens with New Orleans. He seems to think the Saints go receiver. Jordan Tyson, a little bit of a jump there. He is now the betting favorite. Jordan Tyson is to go 8 overall to the New Orleans Saints. I would not, and the question I asked there at the end, Jimmy and I have talked about here for years. the information has gotten so good that it is hard to be profitable. If you're a bettor, it is hard to be profitable because the books, as Johnny said, they've gotten really good at it. Their information is really good. So you kind of have to, you got to get ahead of it. As you mentioned, like if you got Fernando Mendoza when he was 40-1, you took a flyer on him with the number 1 overall pick. If you thought that might be something, a couple of months ago or near the end of the season, you got great value. Well, now it's impossible. So that's interesting. The other thing he said there is interesting is remember, don't be on the app if you don't want spoilers because they are real time at the sports books. Whereas when we're watching on TV or whatever you stream, there's going to be a delay. So they're always ahead of where you are. So if you want the spoiler, jump on the app. If you don't want the spoiler, don't be on the betting apps. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. We'll go around the SEC. Taylor Calandra will be here in 15 minutes for our Bourbon Dictionary segment. We're glad you're hanging out on a Hump Day edition of AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Of course, thinking about hosting an event, either property, Watermark or Renaissance, beautiful places in Baton Rouge to host your event. Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet. They call it Southtown. Bluebonnet near I-10. It's across from Mall of Louisiana, Perkins Row, kind of right between the two. It is a gorgeous, sprawling hotel. The Grand Ballroom can host up to 500 people. So if you need a small, quaint wedding reception, a boardroom for a dozen people, they can do that. They can even bring all your, they have all the internet connectivity and all the tech that you need in their custom boardrooms. You can also have your meals in there. They make it so easy at Renaissance Baton Rouge. But if you have a giant event where you need room for 500 people, Renaissance Baton Rouge can host you there as well. Right there on Bluebonnet, man, for coming in town for Tigers games, maybe starting to plan ahead for the fall. Remember, the Football Fridays, the Tigers stay at the Renaissance the night before every home game, so you should stay there as well. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
On Tuesday at the White House, President Trump hosted about 100 student athletes from 7 different teams that won NCAA championships in 2025. Customary, the visit to the White House when you win a national championship. He took that opportunity while he was making his remarks to again call for reform in college sports. This is how it sounded.
It's a very, very precarious position that the courts have left us in, and now it's a total and complete mess. But we're going to get it fixed up, and we've got some fantastic people. So we need now Congress to act to clear up the confusion created by the courts and institute permanent reforms to protect college sports at every level, and especially some sports. And frankly, a lot of the emphasis is put on football, but football's now destroying the colleges economically because they're being paid so much at the colleges, are losing so much money. It's not sustainable.
I think the most important part of what the president said there is, again, calling on Congress to pass legislation to enact permanent reform. And I think that's the most important part because, remember, this comes just several weeks after the president issued his executive order. And the thing we talked about at the time was I can certainly appreciate the shining a light on the issues surrounding college athletics, but the feeling that the executive order, the executive order was not going to be enforceable. And the fact that now, a month or so later, the president is again imploring Congress to pass legislation tells you his feeling is that the executive order is not enforceable. He's effectively saying, I want you to do this. And they've yet to do that. And it's very unfortunate because what's happening is you just have a game of partisan politics, and it's very difficult to imagine the two sides coming to some type of agreement. And unless they do, and it keeps these issues continue to remain at the state level, you're going to have different. And the reason that's a problem, obviously, is because different states have different laws. So laws that affect Louisiana at like LSU, it's different than Ohio or California or Florida or Missouri. You understand. So the reason they want Congress to act is so you have uniformity. And until then, you just have athletes and attorneys that keep challenging the NCAA in state court, and most of them keep winning. And so you continue to have this issue. So, listen, I appreciate the president bringing attention to the matter. Him talking about it keeps it in the consciousness, and certainly platforms and legislation can be affected by the president's interest. And clearly he has an interest in this, which is a good thing for college sports, the fact that he's interested. But I think it also illustrates that his executive order is not going to be something that he or anyone feels is enforceable. They're going to need Congress to pass legislation that he can then sign into law that can affect this type of change. How that looks, I don't know. But this much sort of speaks to that, his, again, addressing this matter. Another part of this as well is he also talked about the importance of reaching some type of agreement to the Olympic sports and what effect that has on the United States.
75% of Olympians competing for Team USA played as college athletes. If we don't straighten out this, we're not going to have much of an Olympic team, because you have so many of these sports, especially certain sports where it's like the minor leagues. You could call it the major leagues. You could call it whatever you want, but we train unbelievable athletes to go in and win the gold medal. And without college sports, without your ability to go into college sports and compete and learn really how to play and get better, we're not going to have much of an Olympic team anymore.
Or you'll have to invest in training and competing for those Olympians at younger ages. It just changes the model. So I don't think college athletics is meant to be a training ground for the Olympics. That's certainly not why it exists. It is a byproduct of college sports, and it would certainly be a negative thing if you didn't have competitive athletes in the Olympics. But what's the point of what we're doing here? Is I think ultimately the question that needs to be asked. And in the meantime, it's going to keep on in the path it is, with athletes making an awful lot of money, which I'm great with. I want them to make a lot of money, and I want them to earn their net worth. And the only way, I'll say this again, the only way all the nonsense at the court level stops is if the university presidents say, we're stopping this. If the president at the University of Mississippi tells Trinidad Chambliss, no, we are a member of the NCAA, their rules prohibit you from playing any further, your college eligibility is exercised. Thank you, good luck in what's next. But they won't do that because they need Trinidad Chambliss to win games, to make money, to bring attention to the school. And so really, it falls back on the university presidents more so than anything. And they're the real cowards in this situation because they're the ones who actually could affect change, but won't. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're aboard with us here. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Get on by, see our friends over at Rouse's. Still got crawfish, y'all, every single day. Hot boiled crawfish from their in-house boiling rooms at every single Rouse's location every single day. So when you walk in, you're grabbing fresh boiled crawfish every day over at Rouse's. They always have their weekly specials as well, which you can get at the website, Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. It's where you can go see the weekly specials. Good through the 29th. So starting today, good through next week. Like boneless London broil steak or top round roast, only $4.97 a pound. Get on by and feed your whole family. You want to see those specials, you can get them on Facebook, all their social media, of course, at Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. All right, Taylor Calandro's here in about 6 minutes from right now for a little Bourbon Dictionary. Right now, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Darius Acuff is declared for the NBA draft. All-American. Only player in the country to average 20.6 assists, averaged 23.5 per game. He was awesome this year. First team All-American, Bob Cousy Award for the nation's best point guard. Acuff, one and done at Arkansas.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy's added Missouri transfer guard T.O. Barrett, 6'4", 205. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. Started 14 games this past year at Missouri, but now is transferring to the other black and gold in the league.
Texas A&M!
Aggies have landed a commitment from former G League combo guard Bryson Warren, because that's totally normal now. You go play in the G League and then you go back to college. Warren's 21 years old. Been in the G League since the 23-24 season. Most recently played for the Knicks affiliate, the Westchester Knicks. 6'3", 191, played in 21 games with 17 starts, averaging nearly 20 points a game.
The Auburn Tigers.
SEC guard George Kimball has committed to Auburn. He's leaving Vandy and headed to Auburn. Shared that Wednesday on social media. Former Eastern Kentucky transfer. He sat out last year with injury. So Eastern Kentucky went to Vandy, sat out. Now he's going to Auburn. 6'2", averaged 18 points 2 seasons ago at Eastern Kentucky.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Elite edge Antoine Higgins has committed to Kentucky. 6'2.5", 230. He's a 3-star out of Ohio. Now Kentucky's got 11 commits for the 2027 class.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And Kalen DeBoe's got a commitment from edge Stephen Thornton. He's a 3-star out of Georgia. He's 6'5", 195. It was his first his first Power 5 offer didn't come until January, so a late riser here, but is now committed to the Crimson Tide. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, hormone replacement therapy, peptide therapy, ED treatment. You want to look and feel your best? Goodwood can help. YourGoodwood.com. YourGoodwood.com. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We will wrap up hour number 1. Taylor will be here for Bourbon Dictionary, so get your booze questions in. And in about 17 minutes, right after SportsCenter, we'll recap LSU's win over UNO out at the box. Jay Johnson talking about what his team's got to do to get on track here in the final month of the season. Stick around. It's AFR.
After further review.
Rev Fiber. You know you want to get things moving quickly. You need fiber in your diet. You want to get your internet moving quickly? You need fiber in the ground in front of your home or your business. That's Rev Fiber. R-E-V, RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com. When you call Rev Fiber, you're getting all the great local support, 90 years of local ownership with Rev, local call centers, local people, local service, and you're getting lightning fast internet speeds backed by the stability and reliability of an all-fiber network. RevFiber.com. Listen, it's not just internet, phone, security, home or business automation. They can do all of it. Cable, they can do all of it for you at Rev. But make sure you check out RevFiber.com. At Parrish, we're a Rev customer. Guarantee Media, we're a Rev customer. RevFiber.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
Been a minute. What up, dude?
Howdy, man. What's up?
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. Have you ever heard of Root Shoot Whiskey?
Root Shoot Whiskey. No, I have not. Why?
Well, because they had the London Spirits competition, and Root Shoot American Single Malt 4-year-old Bottle and Bond won the Spirit of the Year, the Whiskey of the Year in the United States of America. Never even heard of it.
Man, I mean, I've never heard of them either, but I've tried single malt, like domestic single malts, and the majority of them I just don't really care for. I mean, there's not a lot of expressions of them, but they're becoming more popular now. But, I mean, people not familiar, single malts are generally Scotch. And they've been doing it a long time, so... but I'm not familiar with that one now, and I'm not familiar with those awards either.
Yes, Uncle Nearest won a few, and then Maker's Mark Cash Strength won Straight Bourbon of the Year. Which
I love Maker's Mark, man. I mean, for me, it's hard for Maker's Mark to miss for me, but I love wheated whiskey, so yeah, I'm generally on board with Maker's Mark.
Age 7 years, 2 months, cash strength. I'm looking at the proof on it. 110 proof. I don't know that I've had their cash strength, Taylor. Might have to check that out.
Have you had any barrel, barrel picks?
Oh, a million of them. I mean, I've had all of yours, and it's with the stave finishes in them, and they're all outstanding. I mean, I don't know that I've literally ever had a bad one.
Yeah, those probably fit around 115, 120 proof. So those are generally higher proof expressions from makers. And we have a new makers release, actually, from their wood finishing series that they've been doing the past few years. It's called the Stewart's release. I haven't tried it. We literally just got it. I heard it's kind of sweet, but the wood finishing series that they've been doing has been on the sweeter side, which I'm not saying it's sweet, like sweet. It's just got a little bit of sweetness compared to other bourbon. And that comes with the wood finishing and makers wheated mash bill. So,
well, yeah, explain that if you would. The wood series, the wood finishing series.
Yeah, so I mean, Makers has kind of become known for doing the wood finishing thing. What they do is they'll take their regular cask strength whiskey, which is generally, I think, about 6 years, and then add it to a new barrel with different combinations of staves. They have different types of wood finish that they use, different type of wood staves that they use. I think this one particularly uses just virgin oak staves, which give it a more sweet flavor, sweeter flavor profile, just because of that particular wood finish. But all of the finishes, I've gotten a chance to pick a few of those barrels, and you can kind of mess around with the finishes while you're picking the barrels. They all produce vastly different flavors, and it's kind of interesting. It's very different than what most barrel programs are. What most barrel programs are is you're just choosing a barrel, basically. Makers kind of let you create your own thing. And this wood finishing series, it's kind of a quote-unquote barrel type thing that they're doing in-house.
I should have started as well. What else is new over there?
Well, the Makers, and I think that's $80. And like I said, we just got it today. I haven't had a chance to try it. I heard it's really good though. We got the back end, and they've been kind of spotty. The Penelope cocktails, which I don't know if you've tried any. They're only $27. They're 80 proof. There's a peach old fashioned, which has maple syrup in it.
I have had that, actually. Someone gifted me a bottle. Oh, I forgot about that. I'm looking at a photo of it here, and I have gotten that. Yes?
A black walnut and I think apple cinnamon. And I've tried the black walnut and the apple cinnamon, and those are great. I don't really like them straight up. If you add a couple ounces of whiskey on top of whatever, on top of the mix, basically, it kind of mellows out the sweetness, and it's really good. And they're only $27 too. So those are nice little cocktails in a bottle. Basically, just pre-made cocktail.
If you want something easy, it's a good way to go, right? I mean, it's just open, pour it over ice. If you want, like you said, to add a shot of whiskey or whatever it is to sort of top it off, you can do that. Not my favorite way to go. I think I've struggled to find a pre-made cocktail mix like that I like. But
have you tried the black walnut or the apple cinnamon? I
have not.
Apple,
I just had of the Penelope. I just had the peach.
Yeah, you need. So the peach was probably my least favorite of the three.
Okay, maybe I got to try the other ones.
The black walnut and the apple cinnamon, while sweet, are very good. If you want to mellow it out with a couple dashes of bitters, or if you're feeling frisky, add a couple ounces of whiskey on top of the already whiskey. I think it's 80 proof, so it's already got a bunch in there.
Let's. We got about 90 seconds. Get a few questions here. Taylor Calandro's with us from Calandro's. Scott said, "Hey Taylor, have you tried Barrel 18 year? And if so, what do you think?"
Barrel 18? No, I have not. I mean, I've tried some older marks from them. I don't think I've specifically tried the 18 year. The older marks from them are good. It just largely depends on the price at the end of the day with those guys.
They are really proud of their whiskey at Barrel.
They are, and they. I mean, it's good.
It's good. It's very good. They are proud of it.
You are absolutely right, especially those higher age stated whiskeys. They do like to fetch a few bucks for those.
One more. Eric Gotro said, Taylor, have you ever heard of Rebecca Creek whiskey? It's made near San Antonio. Any good?
Yeah, Rebecca Creek. Walton and Johnson used to promote Rebecca Creek like crazy. And actually, at one of our first raffles, we had the owner there and the master distiller signing bottles. I haven't sold that in a long time. I'm not a huge fan of Rebecca Creek. It's very light. But that was Walton and Johnson's thing for a long time.
Taylor Calandro from Calandro's. Get by and see him on Government Street. Thanks, dude.
All right, man. See you.
Be well. We appreciate the time. It's after further review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We're going to knock out a quick break, come back. We'll talk a little LSU baseball. Tigers got back in the win column last night. That's next on AFR.
After further review.
We are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. A lot of people probably maybe getting your tax refund in. If you were on time with your taxes, maybe you already got it. Maybe you filed an extension and you're waiting for that refund to come in. Well, whenever you get it or if you've already gotten it, don't go waste that money. Reinvest that money into what is the biggest investment that you make, your home. Install energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank or vinyl siding, which will make your home more energy efficient. It lasts. If you install that hardy plank or that vinyl siding, comes finished in whatever color you want, and you will never paint your house again. It's incredible. It's also fire resistant. It's energy efficient. Learn more about it. Relief Windows does it all. And of course, you're always going to get exemplary customer service. It's Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com.